Mara's boots clanged softly against the metal floor as she stepped into the silent archive chamber. The air was cold and dry, smelling faintly of dust and old machinery. The station had been abandoned for so long that even the emergency lights seemed tired, flickering in and out like they were unsure if it was worth staying on. She had been searching through the ruins for 3 days. Most of the rooms were filled with broken terminals, scrap metal, or containers long since emptied. But this chamber was different. Its heavy door had been sealed shut with multiple locks, and it had taken Mara nearly an hour to cut her way inside. The beam of her wrist light moved across rows of tall shelves. The shelves were lined with small cases made of dark crystal and pale metal. Some were cracked, others had been neatly stacked and labeled in a language she could not read. Mara's fingers brushed the nearest shelf. A thin layer of frost crumbled, away under her touch. In the far corner, something caught the light. A faint shimmer like sunlight on water. Mara moved closer, careful not to disturb the delicate objects around her. There, resting on a stand of black stone, was a disk the size of her chest. It was made of a clear crystal so pure she could see her own reflection in it. Inside the crystal, tiny points of light glimmered and shifted. She leaned in and realized the lights formed constellations, a star map. Her breath quickened. She had seen star maps before, but none like this. The stars were not static marks. They pulsed and drifted as if alive, adjusting to some hidden pattern. Trails of faint gold connected them into networks, showing ancient travel routes. At the very edge of the map, her eyes caught a blank. Space. There were stars there, but in the middle of that cluster, an empty circle had been carved, as if a world had been erased. No name, no marker, nothing at all. Mara's heart beat faster. She reached into her pack and pulled out a portable scanner. The device hummed as it swept over the disk, its display filling with lines of alien code. The scanner's translation algorithm sputtered for a moment before giving up entirely. Whatever language this was, it was older than anything in her ship's database. She stepped back, glancing around the silent chamber. Who had made this? Why hide it here, in the dark belly of a forgotten station? The station itself floated in the shadow of a dying star, far from any regular trade route. Mara's team had come here on a salvage run, expecting nothing more than old ship parts or scrap metal to sell. The captain had sent her because she was the only one with enough patience to comb through data archives and half-broken doors. But this was not junk. This was history. She thought of the stories she had heard growing up. Tales told in dim mess. Hauls by old pilots with too much time and not enough credits. Stories about lost systems that had been wiped from the charts. Some said they were destroyed in ancient wars. Others claimed they were hidden away to protect what was inside. Most people dismissed the rumors as campfire tales for travelers who wanted to believe the galaxy still had mysteries. Mara reached out again and touched the surface of the disk. The crystal was warm, as if it had been waiting for her. Her wrist. Light caught the glint of fine engravings around the rim. Symbols that curved like flowing water. She traced them with her finger. They felt smooth, almost soft, and she had the strange sense that the map was aware of her presence. A soft crackle filled her earpiece. "Mara," the captain's voice said. "You're late checking in. Find anything worth dragging out of there?" She hesitated. Her first instinct was to keep this quiet, to study it before anyone else laid eyes on it. But she knew that without the captain's help she could not get it safely out of the station. "I found something," she said. "A map. It's old. Very old." "Old maps don't pay much unless they're rare," the captain replied. "Bring it up anyway. Maybe we can get a museum to buy it." "This one's different," Mara said. She glanced at the blank circle again. "It's got a missing world, right in the middle of a star cluster." There was a pause on the other end. "A missing world," the captain repeated slowly. "That's not something you see every day. I'll have Rin meet you at the lift. Be careful, Mara." The channel went quiet. Mara carefully lifted the crystal disc from its stand. It was heavier than it looked, and she could feel a faint vibration running through it, like a heartbeat. She slid it into the padded case from her pack and sealed it shut. On her way out, she took one last look around the archive chamber. She wondered how many years, decades, or centuries this map had been sitting here, waiting. As she stepped back into the dim corridor, the station groaned around her. Somewhere in the distance, a panel fell with a metallic crash. The air was colder. Here, carrying the faint whisper of moving machinery deep in the walls. Mara's boots echoed with each step as she headed toward the lift. In her mind, the blank circle on the map stayed with her. It was not just a missing name. It was an absence that felt intentional, like someone had tried to hide the world from the galaxy. But why? And who had made the map in the first place? When the lift doors opened, Rin was already there, leaning against the wall. His eyes went straight to the case in Mara's hands. "That's it?" he asked. "That's it," she said. He studied her face. "You look like you just found trouble." Mara managed a small smile. "Maybe I did." They stepped into the lift together, the doors sliding shut with a hiss. Somewhere far below, in the cold and silent chamber, the black stone stand waited. In the dark, empty now. Its treasure gone for the first time in longer than anyone could remember. The small cargo ship Silverwing drifted slowly away from the abandoned station. Its engines hummed softly, pushing it toward the main route that would take them home. Mara sat in the mess hall, the crystal maps case on the table in front of her. She had not opened it since they left the archive chamber, but she could still feel its presence, as if the thing inside was quietly watching her. Rin entered, carrying 2 steaming cups. He placed one in front of her and sat down. "Still thinking about it?" he asked. "I cannot stop," Mara said. "It is not just a map. It feels like it wants to tell me something." Rin raised an eyebrow. "A map that talks. That would be something. But you are right. This is not a normal find. I looked through some old charts in the ship's database. The area where that missing world should be, there is nothing recorded. No trade routes, no station logs, no records of ships passing through. It is as if the place was never there." Mara frowned. "Or someone erased it?" Rin leaned forward, lowering his voice. "Have you heard the stories about the vanished cradle?" She shook her head. "It is an old spacer tale," Rin said. "The story says there was once a world that was home to the first great alliance between species. It was a place of learning, trade, and peace. Then one day it was gone. Some say it was destroyed, others say it was hidden to protect what was inside. No one agrees on the details, but every version ends the same way. The galaxy forgot it existed." Mara thought of the blank circle on the map. The way the space around it seemed almost guarded. Do you believe it? She asked. Rin gave a small shrug. I do not know. I have been flying long enough to learn that some stories have truth hidden in them. But if this is the vanished cradle, that means someone went to a lot of trouble to keep it lost. Before Mara could answer, the captain's voice came over the intercom. Mara, Rin, come to the bridge, now. They exchanged a glance and left their drinks on the table. The bridge was dim except for the glow of the navigation screens. The captain stood near the front, staring at a display filled with moving points of light. Trouble? Rin asked. Maybe, the captain said. We picked up a long-range signal. It is faint, but it is following our course. Mara leaned over the console. The display showed their ship as a small green triangle. Far behind them, a red blip moved slowly but steadily in their direction. Could just be another salvage crew, Rin said. Maybe, the captain replied. But it came from the direction of the station we just left, and we did not see any other ships there. Mara's mind raced. If someone had been watching the station, they might know what she had found. The captain turned to her. I do not know what you brought on board, Mara, but it is worth enough for someone to follow us. I suggest we change our route. They altered course, angling toward a less-traveled corridor of space. The red blip faded from the screen after a while, but Mara could not shake the feeling that they were still being tracked. That night, she could not sleep. She sat alone in her small cabin, the case open in front of her. The crystal map lay inside, glowing faintly. As she watched, the points of light shifted, the golden trails rearranging themselves. The empty circle at the edge of the map pulsed, once, faintly, like the beat of a distant drum. She reached out and touched the surface. Warmth spread through her fingertips. The light swirled faster, and for a brief moment she saw an image, a green world under a bright white sun, with towers rising high above oceans and forests. The image vanished almost as soon as it appeared. Mara sat back, breathing hard. The map had shown her something. She was sure of it. The next morning, she went to the bridge early. Rin was there, studying the navigation charts. You are up early, he said. I think the map showed me the missing world, Mara said quietly. Last night. It was just for a second, but I saw it. Rin's eyes widened slightly. You sure you were not dreaming? It was no dream, Mara said firmly. It was real, and I think it wants us to find it. Rin looked at her for a long moment, then turned back to the screen. If you are right, that changes things. Finding a world that has been lost for centuries. That would be the discovery of a lifetime. But it could also be dangerous. If it was hidden on purpose, there must be a reason. I know, Mara said, but I cannot ignore it. The captain entered then, glancing between them. We will reach the nearest station in 2 days, he said. Once we refuel and restock, we can decide where to go next. Mara kept silent, but inside she had already made her decision. She was going to find the missing world, no matter what it took. As the Silver Wing sailed through the dark between the stars, the crystal map lay locked in its case, its lights shifting and changing, as if it knew the journey had only just begun. The Silver Wing drifted into the busy dock of Vega Outpost. Cargo ships, patrol craft, and traders of all kinds moved in slow lines through the station's massive docking arms. Bright signs flashed in different languages, and the hum of engines filled the air even inside the ship. Mara stood near the cargo bay door, waiting for clearance to step out. She had the crystal map locked inside her pack, close to her chest. Her eyes moved over the crowds outside through the small viewing window. Merchants were already calling out prices, pilots were arguing with dock officers, and children ran between food stalls carrying steaming trays. Rin joined her carrying a data pad. "I booked us a short supply run," he said. "It will give us an excuse to stay here long enough to check the outer routes." "Outer routes?" Mara asked. Rin nodded. "I think I know a way to reach the area near your missing world. But it will take us through uncharted space. No beacons, no safe lanes. If something goes wrong, no one will hear us." Mara looked down at the pack. "Then we should be ready before we go." They stepped out onto the dock. The station air smelled faintly of oil and spice, the sounds of clattering cargo crates mixed with the deep thrum of the station's power systems. Mara kept her pack close, her eyes moving across the crowd. She could not shake the feeling that someone was watching. Inside the main supply hall, they split up. Rin went to speak with a route broker, and Mara went to gather spare parts for the ship's navigation systems. While she compared two small energy converters, a tall man in a dark coat passed slowly behind her. She caught his reflection in the shiny metal surface of the counter. He was not looking at the parts. He was looking at her pack. Mara's hand tightened on the strap. When she turned, the man was already walking away, blending into the crowd. She found Rin near the broker's counter. "Someone was watching me," she said in a low voice. Rin glanced around without moving his head much. "Dock stations are full of eyes, but I will keep watch." The broker was an older woman with sharp eyes and a voice that carried over the noise. "You want to go near the halo drift?" she asked. "Not many pilots try that. Gravity storms, energy surges, old debris fields from wars no one remembers." "What are you looking for out there?" "Just passing through," Rin said smoothly. The broker studied them for a moment, then shrugged. "Your choice. But do not say I did not warn you." She slid a data chip across the counter. "That will get you to the edge of mapped space. Beyond that, you are on your own." Back on the ship, Mara and Rin stored the supplies and loaded the new route data. The captain came to the bridge as Rin plotted their course. "You are sure about this?" the captain asked. "I am," Mara said. "The map wants us to go there. I saw the world. I cannot explain it, but I know it is calling us." The captain studied her face for a moment, then nodded slowly. "Very well. But remember, if we run into trouble, we turn back." They left Vega Outpost under the glow of its massive ring, lights. The busy lanes faded behind them, replaced by the quiet of deep space. Stars stretched endlessly in every direction. For the first day, the journey was calm. The crew took shifts, keeping the engines steady and the scanners clear. Mara spent most of her time studying the crystal map in the small lab. Each time she touched it, the golden lines shifted slightly, as if updating their path. On the second day, the first signs of trouble appeared. The ship's instruments began picking up irregular gravity waves. They were faint at first, then grew stronger. The hull creaked under the strain, and small vibrations shivered through the deck. "Hold us steady," the captain said from the bridge. "We are going through a drift field." Through the viewing port, Mara saw pieces of twisted, Metal and shattered rock drifting slowly, pulled in strange curves by invisible forces. The debris reflected the light of distant stars, making it look almost beautiful. But beauty in space could be deadly. A sudden surge in gravity pulled the ship sideways, alarms ringing. Rin fought the controls, stabilizing the ship just as a large fragment of an old ship hull tumbled past them. That was close, Rin muttered. By the third day, the beacons on their route faded completely. They were now in uncharted space. The only guide they had was the shifting light of the crystal map and the faint pull of its destination. In the quiet hours of her shift, Mara sat alone in the lab, watching the lights swirl inside the crystal. This time the image of the world came more clearly. Green forests, wide rivers, shining towers. She felt an odd warmth in her chest, a strange connection to the place. Then, for just a moment, she thought she saw figures standing on a high platform. She could not make out details, but she felt they were watching her, just as she was watching them. A soft chime pulled her from the vision. It was a signal from the bridge. She hurried there and found Rin pointing at the scanner display. "Energy. Field ahead," he said. "It is massive. We cannot see past it." Mara's heart pounded. "It is protecting the world, I know it." The captain crossed his arms. "If that is true, getting through will not be simple. We will need to find a way in without tearing the ship apart." Mara looked at the shifting lights on the scanner, then at the map in her hands. The golden trails were already bending toward the field, as if it were guiding them to a single point. She met Rin's eyes. "Then we find that point." The Silver Wing turned toward the unseen barrier, its engines burning steady. Somewhere beyond that wall of energy, the missing world waited, hidden for centuries. The energy field filled the main screen like a wall of silver light. It stretched in every direction, shimmering with slow waves that rolled across its surface. It was not solid, yet it gave the strange impression of being alive, as if it could sense the Silver Wing's approach. Mara stood at the front of the bridge, the crystal map cradled in her hands. Its golden trails pulsed in rhythm with the waves of the field. "That thing is huge," Rin said from the pilot's seat. "We could spend weeks trying to go around it." "We do not have to go around," Mara said. "The map is showing a path through." She pointed to a small section on the edge of the crystal's pattern. "Here. It is weaker there." The captain studied the readings. "Weak is not the same as safe. We need to test it first." They launched a probe from the underbelly of the ship. The small craft glided toward the shimmering wall, sending back streams of data. As soon as it touched the field, sparks of silver energy wrapped around it. For a moment, it seemed to push through, but then the lights flared, and the probe's signal cut off. "It is like the field burned it away," Rin said quietly. Mara shook her head. "Not burned. Rejected. It did not want the probe to pass." The captain frowned. "And why would it allow us?" "I think it will if we approach the right way," Mara said. "The probe had no presence, no mind. But we do. I think the map is more than just a guide. It is a key." Rin gave her a skeptical look, but he could see the determination in her face. "If we try this, we only get one shot. If the field crushes us, we will not have time for a second attempt." Mara stepped closer to the control panel. "Then I will guide us. The map will show the timing." The captain hesitated, then nodded. "All right. Rin, Follow her instructions exactly. They moved slowly toward the section Mara had pointed out. The crystal's golden lines shifted in quick pulses, matching the rising and falling of the silver waves ahead. Now, Mara said softly. Rin eased the ship forward. The field loomed closer until it filled the entire view. The silver light danced and flickered, and for a moment Mara thought she saw shapes moving within it, tall figures just out of focus, watching them. The ship's nose touched the field. A soft vibration ran through the hull like the hum of a distant engine. The silver waves wrapped around the ship, pressing gently against it. For a heartbeat, the pressure grew. Alarms flickered on the panels, and the deck under their feet trembled. Hold steady, Mara said. Wait for the next pulse. Now! Rin pushed forward. The silver light flared bright enough to make them squint, then thinned like mist under sunlight. The silver wing slid through. The pressure vanished. The screens cleared. Mara gasped. Before them stretched a star system untouched by time. A golden sun hung in the center, its light warm and steady. 4 planets circled it, their colors vivid against the black of space. One was a red sphere wrapped in thick clouds, another a banded giant of gold and white. But it was the 3rd planet that caught every eye on the bridge. It was blue and green, with wide oceans, sprawling continents, and clouds drifting lazily above. From this distance, they could see the gleam of vast structures near the coasts, cities that shimmered in the sunlight. That is it, Mara whispered. The missing world. The captain leaned forward. It looks alive. No ships in orbit, Rin noted, scanning the area. No signals either. If there is life down there, it is not broadcasting. Mara felt the warmth of the crystal in her hands. It is waiting for us. The captain gave the order to enter orbit. The silver wing glided closer, passing over glittering seas and towering mountains. They could see huge networks of roads and towers, but there was no movement. The cities were perfect, untouched, but silent. It is like everyone just left, Rin said quietly. They set the ship to hold position over a massive coastal city. Its towers reached high into the clouds, built of a pale metal that reflected the sun in a way that made them glow faintly. Wide plazas stretched between, the buildings lined with statues of humans standing beside other species. In every statue, the humans stood in the center. Mara stared. This is proof. Humans were here, part of something huge, something ancient. The captain glanced at her. And if that is true, then someone hid it, which means someone might still want it hidden. Rin tapped the console. No life signs on the surface, at least not that our scanners can detect. But there is a large structure at the city's center with a shielded interior. I cannot scan inside. Mara's pulse quickened. That is where we need to go. The captain hesitated. We should be careful. We do not know what is down there. Then we go. Prepared, Mara said. This place was hidden for a reason, and we are about to find out why. The Silver Wing began its descent, engines whispering as they cut through the upper layers of the atmosphere. The world below grew sharper, forests waving in the wind, rivers shining like silver threads, the city's streets empty but clean, as if they had been cared for even without people. As they approached the landing site near the central plaza, the crystal map in Mara's hands grew warmer, almost hot. She could feel a faint vibration, like a voice she could not yet understand. When the landing struts touched the smooth white stone of the plaza, the warmth faded, replaced by a deep stillness. The ship's engines powered down, and the silence outside pressed against the hull. Rin stood, checking his equipment. "Ready?" Mara took a deep breath. "Ready?" The captain looked at them both. "Stay close. We do not know what is waiting." The airlock opened with a hiss, and warm sunlight poured inside. They stepped out onto the plaza. The stone was smooth beneath their boots. The statues loomed above, their faces calm, their eyes fixed on some distant point beyond the horizon. Ahead of them, the great building at the city's center rose like a mountain of pale metal. Its wide doors were closed, but as they approached, the crystal in Mara's hands began to glow softly. It was as if the city itself knew they had arrived. The great doors of the central building towered above them. They were smooth and seamless, made of pale metal that caught the sunlight and reflected it in soft waves. There were no visible handles, locks, or control panels. Mara stood close, the crystal map in her hands. As she stepped forward, the warm glow inside the crystal brightened. Thin lines of light began to appear on the door, spreading out in patterns that matched the markings around the rim of the map. "It is reacting to you," Rin said quietly. Mara touched the surface of the door. The light pulsed once, then the metal slid apart with a low, steady sound. Warm air drifted out, carrying a faint scent like fresh rain. They stepped inside. The entry hall was vast and open, the ceiling high enough that their lights barely reached it. Tall pillars lined both sides, each carved with images of humans standing alongside beings of many shapes and sizes. The humans were always at the center, one hand raised as if guiding the others. "It is like a record of some ancient alliance," Rin said, his voice echoing off the walls. The captain walked slowly between the pillars, studying the carvings. "These are not just decorations. They tell a story." The further they went, the more detailed the carvings became. They showed scenes of cities filled with different species working together, ships launching into the stars, and great gatherings, under banners bearing a symbol, a circle surrounded by 12 points. At the end of the hall stood a wide doorway that opened into a circular chamber. In the center of the chamber was a raised platform. Upon it rested a tall structure shaped like an open book, made of the same pale metal as the doors. As they approached, a soft hum filled the air. Lines of light spread across the structure, and then a voice spoke. "Visitors detected. Identity unknown. Access granted by keyholder." The voice was calm and clear, yet carried a weight that made the hairs on Mara's arms stand on end. The pale metal shimmered, and a figure appeared above the platform. A projection of a tall human dressed in robes marked with the same circle and point symbol. "I am the custodian," the figure said. "This world is the heart of the first, human confederation. You have entered a place that has been hidden for over 10,000 cycles." Mara felt her breath catch. "You mean humans built this?" "Yes," the custodian replied. "From this world, humans once led a union of many races. Together, they brought peace and knowledge across the galaxy. But peace breeds envy. The Confederation faced those who feared human influence. They sought to erase this world from memory, to destroy all record of it. They failed to take it, but their attack was costly. Rin stepped forward. So you hid it. The custodian's image nodded. A shield was built to seal this system away. The star map you carry was one of the few keys to enter. It was entrusted to the last explorers who left this place so that one day the truth could be found again. Mara looked down at the glowing crystal in her hands. Why me? Why now? The key responds to intent, the custodian said. It waits for one who seeks truth, not power. You came because you wish to know, not to claim. That is why the shield allowed you to pass. The captain's face was thoughtful. If this place has been hidden for so long, revealing it could change everything, and not everyone would want it found. That is correct, the custodian said. If word of this world spreads, it will draw those who wish to control it, or to destroy what it represents. But the time for silence is ending. The galaxy must remember. The chamber grew quiet for a moment, the hum of the projection the only sound. Rin broke the silence. What happened to the people who lived here? They were evacuated, the custodian said. Many joined other worlds of the Confederation. Others vanished into distant regions to escape pursuit. The city you see now has been preserved. As it was, cared for by automated systems. It waits for those who will return. Mara's eyes moved across the walls of the chamber, where more carvings told the Confederation's story. The statues outside, the empty streets, the perfect buildings, it all made sense now. This was not an abandoned city. It was a kept one. The custodian's gaze turned to Mara. You are now a bearer of this knowledge. You must decide what to do with it. But choose wisely. The wrong choice could awaken old conflicts. Mara felt the weight of his words. I understand. The image began to fade, the light of the platform dimming. The key will remain with you. When you are ready, it will show you more. Until then, this place will stay hidden from all but those it chooses to reveal itself to. Then the figure was gone. The hum faded, leaving the chamber in stillness once more. Rin let out a slow breath. That was a lot to take in. The captain turned toward the doorway. We should head back to the ship. We need to think about what this means before we make any moves. Mara looked at the platform one last time before following them. As they walked back through the grand hall, she touched the nearest pillar. The stone was cool and solid beneath her hand, but she could feel the history carved into it. Outside, the sunlight still bathed the plaza, the statues standing watch as they had for centuries. The silver wing waited at the edge, its hull gleaming faintly in the warm light. As they stepped aboard, Mara knew the custodian's words would stay with her. She carried not just the map now, but the memory of a lost civilization, and the responsibility that came with it. Somewhere out there, she thought, were the descendants of those who had once lived here. And maybe, just maybe, they were waiting for someone to bring them home. The silver wing drifted silently above the blue and green world. Below, the empty cities glimmered under the sun, streets shining like silver threads in perfect order. Mara sat at the navigation console, her hands resting lightly on the controls, but her eyes never left the crystal map. Rin hovered near her, watching her study the glowing lines that pulsed across its surface. You've been quiet since the custodian spoke, he said. Mara shook her head. I'm thinking. The custodian warned us. If this world becomes known, there will be those who want to take it, or destroy it. There are already eyes on us. I can feel it. The captain turned from the observation window. Eyes? What do you mean? Mara traced a path on the crystal. The map is old, but it senses intent. The moment we passed the shield, it pulsed stronger. That means others could sense our passage too. Someone is aware that this system exists. Rin frowned. So, we're not alone? No, Mara said. And if they find it before we decide what to do, it could be lost forever. The captain clenched his jaw. Then we need a plan. We cannot stay here. We need to understand what we are dealing with before we act. Mara nodded. The custodian can guide us, but only through the map. There is a way to contact it remotely, but it requires the key to be brought to a secure location. The path is not simple, and it will test us. Rin tilted his head. Tests? Yes, Mara said. The custodian protects the knowledge for those worthy of it. There are paths and trials built into the system. The map will show the way, but we have to be ready. The captain moved to the main console. First, we need to scan the surrounding space. If someone else is tracking us, we must find them before they find this world. Rin accessed the ship's sensors. The readings are faint, almost ghost-like. There is a vessel far enough away that it has not detected us directly, but it is moving toward us. Its signature is old, a design not seen in common fleets for thousands of cycles. Mara's eyes widened. Then they know about the ancient Confederation too. Whoever is out there, they are after this world for its history, not for its resources. The captain tapped a few controls. We cannot engage blindly. We need to lure them away from the system or hide until we can act. Mara held the crystal closer, feeling its warmth. The map can help us. There is a route through the nearby nebula that can mask our presence. It is narrow and dangerous, but it may buy us time. Rin looked toward the swirling gas clouds below. I've flown through nebulae before. They can tear a ship apart if you are not careful. Do we really want to risk it? We have no choice, Mara said. If they reach the system, the cities, the platform, and the map could be taken or destroyed. We are the Guardians now, even if we did not ask for it. The captain nodded. Then prepare the ship. We enter the nebula in 20 minutes. Everyone, stay sharp. The crew moved with practiced efficiency. Shields were reinforced, sensors recalibrated, and the engines tested for precision. The silver wing was ready, but the tension in the air was thick. When the time came, Mara guided the ship toward the edge of the nebula. The stars beyond the gas clouds shimmered faintly as if warning them of what lay ahead. Steady, Mara said. Follow the pulses on the map. They will show the safest path. The ship entered the nebula. Thick clouds of red and purple gas swirled around them, illuminated by distant stars. Visibility dropped to almost nothing. Sensors blinked erratically as the gas interfered with their instruments. Rin's hands moved rapidly over the controls. The currents here are stronger than expected. We are being pushed sideways. Mara adjusted the path using the map. Its golden lines glowed brighter as they responded to her touch. The ship tilted, twisted, and surged forward, following the eye, hidden channels through the nebula. Minutes passed like hours. Every turn brought new obstacles, sudden eddies of plasma, pockets of dense gas, and strange gravitational anomalies that threatened to pull the ship off course. Then a blip appeared. On the sensor screen, a vessel, sleek and dark, was moving inside the nebula, almost exactly in their path. "They are following us," Rin said. "They risked the nebula, too." The captain's jaw tightened. "We cannot let them see the system. We have to shake them off before we emerge." Mara's fingers hovered over the crystal. "There is a path here, a series of twisting currents. If we follow it exactly, we can disappear from sensors long enough to pass unnoticed. But it will test the limits of the ship." Rin swallowed. "Then there is no turning back." Mara nodded. "No turning back." The silver wing dove deeper, riding the hidden channels that shimmered faintly only on the map. The pursuing ship tried to follow, but it was larger and less flexible. Sparks of energy from the nebula brushed its hull, forcing it to slow. Hours passed. Finally, Mara guided the ship to a thin gap in the gas clouds. Beyond it, stars stretched in all directions, and the system below gleamed untouched. The pursuer did not appear. The nebula had hidden them. For now, the silver wing was safe. Captain exhaled slowly. "We made it, but they will not give up so easily." Mara stared at the system below, at the empty cities and the central platform waiting for them. "No, they will come again, and next time they might not be so cautious." Rin set the ship on a slow orbit. "Then we need to prepare. The map can guide us, but we have to decide what we will do. Do we reveal this world or do we protect it?" Mara held the crystal to her chest. "We protect it, at least until we understand. The galaxy has forgotten this place, but we cannot let it be lost again. We are the guardians now." The captain put a hand on her shoulder. "Then we stand together. Whatever comes next, we face it as one crew." As the silver wing drifted in the calm of space, the nebula behind them hiding the threat, Mara looked at the crystal. It pulsed faintly, as if in agreement. The journey was far from over. But for the first time, she felt a spark of hope. Somewhere out there, the galaxy was watching. And now, so were they. The silver wing floated above the hidden world, its engines quiet, as the crew prepared for what could be the most important moment of their journey. Mara held the crystal map firmly, its golden lines glowing like a heartbeat. "This is it," the captain said, voice steady but full of weight. "We cannot fail. The galaxy's history depends on us." Rin moved to the observation deck. "I've never seen a system this untouched. It looks like time forgot it." Mara nodded. "It is waiting for someone who will remember." Below, the city stretched in perfect order. The central platform stood as it had for thousands of cycles, empty yet alive with a soft glow. The crew knew that this world held secrets that could change everything humanity thought about its past and its place in the galaxy. "Are we ready to access the custodian?" Mara asked. The captain placed a hand on her shoulder. "We have to. The longer we wait, the higher the chance someone else will find this world. We cannot let that happen." Mara placed the crystal on the platform. Lines of light spread across the structure, linking the map to the world itself. The air hummed, vibrating with energy. The custodian's image appeared, tall and calm, its robes glowing faintly. "You have returned," the custodian said. "The time to reveal the truth has come." Mara swallowed. "We are ready." The custodian's projection moved, spreading its hands toward the crystal. This world was once the heart of the first human confederation. Here, Humans and other races joined to share knowledge, peace, and exploration. That history was lost, to fear and envy, hidden so that it might survive. Rin stepped closer, awe in his eyes. So all this, it was real. Yes, the custodian said, and now you will awaken it. But awaken it wisely, for the galaxy is not prepared for sudden truth. Choose the first message carefully. Mara looked around at her crew. We have seen the dangers. There are those who follow, who will try to take this world for power. We cannot let history repeat itself. The custodian nodded. Then speak carefully. Share knowledge, not weapons. Inspire, do not dominate. Show the way humans once led by example, not by force. Mara took a deep breath and spoke. We will tell the galaxy the truth. The Confederation existed. Humans once guided and protected others, and this world is proof. We will share knowledge and history, not take control. The crystal pulsed brightly. Lines of energy spread into the sky, connecting with distant satellites, communications arrays, and the remnants of old networks. Across the galaxy, systems began to receive the message, fragments of a forgotten history that would awaken curiosity and hope. Suddenly, alarms on the ship blared. Sensors detected multiple vessels approaching rapidly. Mara's heart raced. They found us. They must have followed the nebula trails or tracked the crystal's energy. The captain turned sharply. Rin, prepare defensive measures. We will protect the system until the truth spreads far enough to be safe. Rin activated the shields, and the silver wing shimmered with energy as incoming ships drew closer. Enemy fleet was not large, but it was advanced and aggressive. Their intent was clear. They wanted to seize the hidden world no matter the cost. Mara held the crystal. The custodian said knowledge is the key. Let us show them what humans once were. The platform reacted to her words. Light shot into the sky, forming massive holographic projections of the ancient cities, ships, and gatherings of humans with other races. The images were not threatening, but they were undeniable proof of power, wisdom, and unity. The approaching ships paused, scanning the projections. Their crews saw humans not as conquerors, but as guides, teachers, and leaders who valued peace. Doubts began to ripple among them. Some ships slowed, unsure whether to attack a civilization whose history was filled with cooperation across species. The captain gave the order. Maintain position. Do not fire unless we must. Let the truth protect us. Hours passed as the fleet hesitated. The projections continued to spread, showing the cities, the records, and the artifacts of the first human confederation. Slowly, one by one, the enemy ships began to retreat, realizing that taking the world by force would be seen as an act against the shared history of countless systems. Mara exhaled. It worked. Knowledge is stronger than fear. The custodian's image smiled faintly. You have learned the first lesson of the Confederation. Power is not in weapons, but in understanding. The galaxy will remember because you have chosen wisely. The captain nodded. We need to secure this system now. We cannot leave it unprotected. It will be a center for learning, not war. Rin looked down at the platform. And the people who were here? They were scattered, Mara said. But some may still be alive in distant systems. The map will guide them back. We are only the first step. The crew stood together on the deck of the Silver Wing, watching the projections fade and the world glow softly below. The danger had passed, but their mission had only begun. Mara held the crystal again. We have given the galaxy a gift, but we must continue to protect it. The story is alive, and now it belongs to everyone. The captain placed a hand on her shoulder. We will. Together, we will ensure that history is never forgotten again. As the stars stretched endlessly around them, the hidden world waited patiently. Its cities were silent, its platforms glowing faintly, but the memory of the Confederation was alive once more. Somewhere across the galaxy, humans and other races would see the message and remember. They would know that long ago, unity and knowledge were more powerful than fear, and Mara, Rin, and the captain had become the first guardians of a history that would shape the future. The Silver Wing lifted from orbit, carrying its crew into the star-studded sky, ready for the next journey, knowing that the galaxy now remembered what had been lost, and that the legacy of the first human confederation would never fade again.